This is CJC Strategies. We're going to be talking today about the calendar and using your booking site or using your Google Calendar to connect with the CRM system. So that way, when your bookings pop up, they'll connect to your customers, they're going to connect to your employees, and more importantly, they're going to connect to your Google Calendar. Why is that important? You'll never miss an appointment. So let's get things started. So first, you want to go to Settings. As you can see, Settings was down there at the bottom. You want to go to Integrations. Now, what we're doing here is we're just trying to make sure that your Google profile is connected. You can see here that your Google account is connected. But if you need to connect another one, it's right here. You can sign in, click one of these, and it'll automatically sign you in, or it'll prompt you to fill out the name, password, and all that. Next, we want to move over to calendars. As you can see here, this has been wiped clean. I took off all of the calendars so far just for this video. We are opening up a new calendar here. So I'm creating a calendar. Now there's different types of calendars. So service calendar is if you're a service provider and you don't need the home address. If you're a service provider, kind of like myself, and you don't need to meet the person at their address, I would recommend use the service calendar if you don't need to meet with them in person. If you want to meet with them in person, use the simple calendar or round robin. It just depends on how many employees you have. If you have a bunch of employees and varying availability, use the round robin. The simple calendar can do the same thing, but it is a little bit more manual. If you have someone that books the calendar for you, use the simple calendar because it's not going to be as automated. And if you're a service provider, like you go to the person's home, often you have to create a good route that's optimized for the amount of time spent on the road. So I would recommend the simple calendar because you can fix that to the correct route that you're going to have. So round robin can kind of like mess up the routes for the day. So I would just stick to the simple calendar, and that's what we're going to do here right now. So calendar name, people are going to see this. If they're able to book within this calendar, they're going to see the name. However, for this specific instance, I'm working with a cleaning company. They're going to be the ones booking the calendar, so we don't have to worry about the customer actually seeing the calendar name. I'm still going to name this what I think it should properly be named. So it is Mickey's Cleaning Service, but I'm going to say Mickey's Cleaning Services. Mickey's Routine Cleaning. Let's just say routine cleaning. How about that? Mickey's Magical Cleaning, I believe, is what it was called for routine cleaning. Now we're going to estimate 3 hours. Now, if you do a custom booking, you don't have to worry about the duration. It's just going to default to 3 hours, but you can make it 4 hours. So you'll know how long the cleanings are going to be or how long your service is going to be if you're the one that's going to be booking it yourself. Give yourself like a default time, but the custom will give you a little bit more variability there. It's going to be based on what information the customer puts in. So you don't even have to worry about it. Now I'm going to go to advanced settings here. It'll automatically save what I have so far, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into this. So you can see here that this description is actually going to show up when the customer books. Now, the customer's not going to see this, but I'm still going to put a description here. So routine cleaning for Mickey's Cleaning Service. Provide an in-depth clean to your home, giving you a sense of peace. Now, the reason I do that is because you just want to cover your bases. Sometimes people do have access to your calendar. Maybe in the future, this client of mine will want customers to have access to her calendar. So this allows her that flexibility. Now, when someone does read this, they're going to think, okay, so I'm booking a cleaning and it's going to give me a sense of peace. The groups here, the reason why I use groups is because it does make it a little bit easier if you do embed groups into your website. If you embed it into like something that the customer can visit, they'll be able to see multiple calendars. And now here, contact name, we're going to put in the address. So it would be contact address 1. So the reason I did that this way is because contact name, whenever they input their name, their first and last name are going to show up here. And now when they input their address, their home address is going to go there. Now here's her availability. Her availability is a little different. So she does 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm going to copy that down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Apply to all. So now you can see that it reflects 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. to all days that she's available. I'm not going to make the reoccurring meeting. Actually, you know what? I'll keep this available. I'll make this weekly. So this says skip booking if unavailable slots. So if I put it on Monday at 7 a.m. and next week it's unavailable, it's just going to skip that week. And it's going to continue on for 8 iterations. But if I do this, book next available slot, if it's unavailable until 9, it's actually going to make it so that the booking is at 9. So instead of booking at 7, it'll book at 9, which is actually, I would highly recommend using this instead of the other one, because if you have a weekly client, you want to keep them as a weekly client. You don't want to skip by accident. You want to make sure that you fit them in, and you want to prioritize your weekly clients. If they're monthly clients, same thing. If they're one-time clients, now you want to treat them well, but I would highly recommend prioritizing the ones that are more consistent. Now, meeting interval basically means like they're allowed to book within 30-minute intervals. So I'll show you what that means. So basically like 1:30 to 2:30, 3 are all going to show as available in the slot, but this shows you the meeting duration. So 3 hours. So when I book at 2:30, it's going to book it from 2:30 to 5:30. And now the next available slot is 5:30. Where if it's 15 minutes, it would be 1:15, 1:30, 1:45, 2. Minimum scheduling notice. So I have it one day. I don't want them to book same day. So this is going to be one day in the future. They're not going to be able to book same day. But that gives you the flexibility of knowing what your schedule is before someone books. It also allows you to plan your day. Like if someone does book a couple days from now and it doesn't fit your route, you can reschedule them to an earlier time or a later time. That way you can plan your day a little bit better. Date range, I'm going to make this like 62 days. I don't want anything further out. This allows you to plan for, like if you want trips, time off, if you have like a client that you really want to make sure that they're prioritized. This only gives people who aren't on your calendar 62 days, which is still plenty of time for them to book. Maximum bookings per day, I'm going to leave that blank, but essentially if you set this to 5, that means you only have availability for 5 services a day. If you set it to 1, that means you can only book 1 customer a day. So it'll leave your calendar unavailable if you have 1 booking that day. So I'm going to set this to 0 or blank. So it's an unlimited number of customers. I will be able to book as many customers as it fills my calendar. But this actually puts a cap on it, so that way if you have 12 hours available, but you really only want to work 6 hours, So three hours each client, so only 2 clients. You could put 2 there. That way you're not overworking yourself. Pre-buffer time, post-buffer time. Now that's great if, say, you're working with a customer and you want to be able to drive between different houses. Just estimate the default time that you think you might need, say 30 minutes in between each house, an hour between each house. So it gives you time to be able to orient yourself. And if you might need some time after you actually perform the service. So this is good to put in. Just keep in mind that if you're booking it yourself, you might not need that. So let's move on to the next one. So here are forms. So the default form is first name, last name, email, phone number, notes. I'm going to put this to our cleaning services form. Now I created this form. You can check out the video for forms, but essentially what we collect more for cleaning services is just address. And that's a really necessary part because we just need to know where you live in order for us to head out there. But if you're booking like a call, say like I'm just booking a call for someone to see what kind of services they might need, maybe we could just ask over the phone, hey, what's your address? So we don't necessarily need to have that before the phone call. And everything else is good as default. Basically, this is the confirmation message. It will let them know that the booking was confirmed via email or text. Whatever you want to be automated is typically email, especially through Gmail. So let's go save this. And we're auto-confirming new calendar meetings. If you're someone that wants to confirm manually, you can definitely do that. That way you're staying a little bit more on top of your calendar, but I recommend auto-confirming because you're already making your calendar available, so you know for sure that that's going to be like an available time slot. Now this calendar does sync up to Google Calendar, so if you do have an activity during a day and you put it in your calendar, it'll show up as unavailable. So customers are not going to be able to overlap other activities. So stay up to date on your Google Calendar. Now this acknowledgement email basically just shows, hey, you have an appointment. You want the contact to receive it, and you yourself are going to receive it all automatically on Lead Connect. I don't want people to be able to reschedule a day out. So if my appointment's in 24 hours, I don't want you to be able to cancel. So that's what I'm doing here. The cancellation link will expire a day before the meeting. So this part is going to be really important. We're linking it to a specific calendar on our Gmail. This is the main Gmail calendar. We're doing a two-way sync. So the difference between one-way and two-way is one-way, when we post on a calendar on GoHighLevel, it goes to Google. Now we can delete things on Google, we can move things around on Google, and it'll reflect on GoHighLevel. But if we post on GoHighLevel during a one-way sync option, so like let's just say one-way, and we post on Google, it won't connect to Mickey's Magical Cleaning Calendar. It'll show up as unavailable, but it won't post to Mickey's Magical Cleaning Calendar. Now if we do two-way and we post on this calendar on Google, it'll post directly to Mickey's Magical Cleaning Calendar. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Customizations, I leave it as default. You don't necessarily need to change anything, but you can see here this is what your calendar is going to look like. So this is what I mean by 30-minute intervals, and you can only book out a day in advance. So today's the 31st. So we're saving a whole day, a whole 24 hours until Friday is when you can book the next time. So next, what I want to do is I want to go to the calendar itself. So this is a two-way calendar now, and this is what I mean by that. Now it behooves of you to post it directly on GoHighLevel, and here's why. When you post it on GoHighLevel, you're just using the contact information. So I'm going to use test. Right, this appointment title is going to be test cleaning services. I can't spell it right now. Services. There you go. And we're going to do this on Friday. So we're going to do this on Friday from 7 to 10. Right? Calendar default. So the location is supposed to be defaulted to the address. We already have the default name. However, we have the appointment title here, test cleaning services, so their name, cleaning services. Now I'm going to book the appointment and I'm going to show you what happens. And it's going to be different for phone call, and I'll show you how I'd make it different for the phone call. Appointment is booked. And you can see that it reflects in the calendar here. I go next week. And you can see that it reflects in the calendar here. So for now, for 8 weeks, 8 iterations, it's going to be at the exact same time. Now I go to the calendar that's connected to this. That's not the correct calendar. Now I go to the calendar that's connected to this, and you can see that it reflects here. Now, one of the reasons why you want to book it in GoHighLevel is because automatically you see the address here. So now, if you're someone that's just doing the operations and your employees are going out to these job sites, they know exactly where to go. They know who to call. If they're not opening the door, they know who to email. And your customers also have access to reschedule or cancel the appointment. Now, these links are disabled a day out, but they have access to it. And you can also see that it reflects for the next 8 iterations here. That should be the last one. Yep. So after 8, sometimes things happen. So that's why I put 8 as a default. Things happen. If things change in 2 months, great, you can come back to it. Maybe your schedule changed, maybe their schedule changed. You can always message them, especially if it's the last one of the 8. You can put a notification in there to remind yourself, like, hey, reschedule them for Fridays between 7 and 10. Make sure that spot is taken. You can even make it so that if they only have 4 left, you do that for the next 8 after that. But yeah, that's how you book a reoccurring weekly clean and have it connect to the GoHighLevel system as well as your Google Calendar.